Hello again and welcome to the Warhammer 40k Imperial Guard Tactics video. Now today we're going to be reviewing, after almost 2 years of 8th edition, what is the Take All Comers Infantry Squad. What is the TAC Infantry Squad? Well, just to give you guys some context, at the beginning of 8th edition I reviewed the infantry squad and I reviewed the weapons, and came to the conclusion that the way sort of the wounding system worked in 8th edition, that what you really wanted to do is basically give every infantry squad, if you didn't know what you're going to be facing, if you go into a tournament, then you really should be taking plasma guns on your infantry squads, or plasma guns in general should be your special weapon of choice, and your heavy weapon of choice should be the heavy bolter. And the reason for this being, at the time, plasma guns were very cheap for everyone, 7 points across the board. And obviously the AP-3 is a big help. And the fact they could go up to strength 8 meant that they could wound most things on 3s, and most infantry on 2s. And the heavy bolter was basically one of the cheapest heavy weapons you could get outside of the mortar. And again, the fact it was strength 5 meant it was going to wound nearly all infantry on 3s, and the worst it was going to do is wound enemy vehicles on 5s. Now, that was the beginning of 8th edition. Since then, I have used many infantry squads with many different weapon combinations. I'd say I probably tried nearly all of them. Sniper rifles, mortars, las cannons, melter guns, las cannons, plasma guns, las cannons, grenades. You get the hint. You know, I've tried them all. And the interesting thing is that it's no longer clear cut. It's no longer plasma gun, heavy bolter. That is still a very good choice. And you could do much worse than selecting that as a weapon option, weapon loadout for your squads. But let me tell you why things have changed slightly. Okay, number one, points changes. Plasma guns now, while still 7 points on your infantry squads, yes, very true, they are much more expensive on other units. So they're no longer clear cut. Also, grenade launchers, which used to be 5 points, so it's like there's only a 2 point difference going on from a grenade launcher to a plasma gun. Grenade launchers are now only 3 points, which means you can get 2 grenade launchers and have a point spare. 2 grenade launchers and a bolter for the price of 1 plasma gun. So now there are cheaper options out there. You know? Again, same with the heavy bolter. At the time, the heavy bolter was very, it's the cheapest decent heavy weapon out there. Autocannons were 15 points at the beginning of 8th edition. Missile launchers were 20. Now, the autocannon's gone down 15 to 12 to 10 points. Okay? And that makes it a definite contender, because the autocannon is worth 10 points for sure. It's worth it. It has superior strength. It has superior range. It has superior damage. And it has the same AP. Now, what's interesting, at the beginning of 8th edition, hordes were where it was all at. And so that's why the heavy bolter made it was very important. Now, hordes, not so much. Now it's all about the elites, and Games Workshop are bringing out more and more Primaris stuff, and they're making Primaris stuff better and better. And there's a lot of multi-wound shit out there these days, guys. A lot of multi-wound shit out there. And the problem is that we've talked about this time and time again, there is a problem with invulnerable save spam at the moment. Games Workshop have started addressing it, but that's the fact. There's a problem with invulnerable save spam. high AP does not mean as much as it used to. It doesn't. In fact, it's a rare treat these days when I shoot an AP -3 weapon at something and it takes -3 to its save. It's a rare treat. Also, obviously, the rise of AP -1 to hit makes plasma guns. Plasma guns are still very good, but they have fallen from grace a little bit. Heavy bolters are very good, but they have fallen from grace. If you're only going to sneak a wound past, you kind of want that damage to be more than 1. Okay. Now, what I've noticed basically, guys, is that the good old fashioned tried and tested over edition after edition autocannon grenade launcher infantry squad is becoming more and more of a staple in my units. I think it's at the very least equal to the plasma gun heavy bolter squad. It could have regained its rightful place as our take all comers loadout on your infantry squad. Now, there's an argument to be made. Why am I saying that? Okay, well let's line the points up. A plasma gun and a heavy bolter comes to 15 points. A autocannon and grenade launcher, which is arguably of equal power, comes to 13 points, which is cheaper. You could actually take a bolter as well. It was like a third, in inverted commas, special weapon. So you could actually get a bolter, a grenade launcher, and an autocannon for 14 points. Which is significant. The fact that you're getting more bang for your buck is very important. With the rise of all these elite units which can just ignore decent firepower, it's becoming very quickly, again, a time when Imperial Guard have to just throw enough shit at walls and see what sticks. And it's becoming that way again. It's interesting. 8th edition a few years ago was a very different game. It's slowly becoming, the sort of what worked in the past is beginning to work in the present again. Now, that is the points precedent basically. That is the precedence behind it. Now, interestingly, honourable mention here. What's interesting with my veteran squads, what I'm finding to be effective with them is the missile launcher, grenade launcher combo, triple grenade launcher and a missile launcher. Becoming very, very effective. The fact that a veteran squad is only 50 points, with a missile launcher 65 points, and with 3 grenade launchers is only 74 points is very good. But we won't talk about veteran squads just yet. It's just to give you an idea, at the beginning of 8th edition was all about plasma veterans. Not so much anymore, guys. Definitely not so much. Now, I know there's going to be some people which are going to say, but Mordian Glory, what about the go big or go home strategy? Okay. Go big or go home, I would say, is also an option for take all comers. Okay? What I'm saying, for those of you that don't understand it, my go big or go home policy was something that I developed in 7th edition, which was, if you only hit the enemy half the time, then you've got to make sure when you hit them, it hurts them. So take las cannons, take melter guns. They are my 2 favoured. Or las cannons and plasma guns. Take those, and then when you hit them, at least you bloody hurt them. At least they feel it. Now, I still would maintain that go big or go home is, especially if you're going pure infantry, is something you need to consider. The only difference is the reason why go big or go home has become less prevalent as 8th edition has gone along is because the rule of, well, if you only hit them 50% of the time, you might as well hit them hard, no longer really applies consistently, because now you don't hit them even half the time. with the -1 to hit modifiers. You know, you don't even hit them half the time. But it obviously should be mentioned that now melter guns have come down in points. It's only 30 points for a las cannon and a melter gun. That's pretty cheap on an infantry squad. But that's a thing. That's, you know, it's just something to be aware of. So my thoughts are becoming, guys, that the go big or go home infantry squad is suffering from -1 to hit problems and is expensive. The heavy bolter plasma gun infantry squad loadout, the heavy bolter struggling to keep up these days with all the multi-wound shit, and again the plasma suffers from, you know, not really the AP -3 being almost overkill. So those two squads are still very powerful, but I don't think there is point efficient. I don't think there is point efficient. I think that it's becoming autocannon grenade launcher again. And I'm not saying we're all there. I'm not saying you have to run out there and buy loads of autocannons and buy loads of grenade launchers. You'll do fine with your plasma gun heavy bolter squads, and you'll do fine with your go big or go home squads. But what I'm saying is their point efficiency has begun to decrease. And the point efficiency of the autocannon grenade launcher squad has begun to increase. Looking at it point for point. So, you know, because the autocannon grenade launcher squad has got that balance between rate of fire, and if you're taking on a horde, and it's the autocannon grenade launcher bolter squad at this rate. You know, a plasma gun heavy bolter squad, at long range puts out 4 shots, at close range puts out 5 shots. The go big or go home squad with the melter gun and las cannon, typically it's only putting 2 shots out, ever. And your autocannon grenade launcher squad at long range against anti-tanks is putting out 3 shots, which is more, you know, 1 less than the heavy bolter plasma gun squad, 1 more than the go big or go home squad. But don't forget, if you take into account anti-infantry, you've got a bolter, which is an extra shot, a grenade launcher on frag mode, which is 4 shots, and 3-4 shots, that's 5 shots. 2 autocannon shots, that's 7 shots. So actually, you've got enough rate of fire, power, and punch to threaten vehicles, and you have enough rate of fire to thin hordes. So it is, you know, not only is it point for point efficient, but in terms of target priority, targetability of your weapons, you can hit a wider spectrum. You can cover more bases. It's more take all comers. Autocannons are still autocannons are just as point efficient against knights as a heavy bolter. They do better against medium vehicles and like armigers as well. They're really good at killing armigers, and they rapidly become better against medium infantry. So there you go, guys. What do you think? I know I've been talking about this before about autocannon grenade launcher squads, but before, when I've mentioned in a couple of other videos over the sort of last 6 months, I've just talked about it from like an abstract, this is my gut feeling. Now I'm talking about it in terms of points efficiency. Now I'm seeing more results from my ACGL squads than I am seeing from my heavy bolter plasma squads, from my go big or go home squads. What do you guys think? Are we there yet? You know, this started coming around about the time of Custodes, about the time of Dark Elder Talos. That's when this all first started. I think since then we've seen it become, sort of invuln spam, elite spam become more and more. I think we're getting there now. I think autocannon grenade launcher is going to be the new old take all comers squad. That's what I would recommend going forward. That's what I would recommend. If you're getting into the Imperial Guard, that's what you should be looking at. Am I right, guys? What is your experience in your meta? How has the meta shifted in your area? And how have you been changing your loadouts to compensate? Tell me down in the comments, guys. Very interested to see what people put on this one. Thank you for watching, and of course, I'll see you guys next time.